Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. So what do you do when your child starts talking about a past life? Like how do you move forward with that? I've been watching a show recently called The Ghost Within My Child, and I see these parents struggling. Some are pretty open, but some are really struggling. What do you do when your child starts talking about a past life? Well, we need to back up a few things because this might be out there for some that this is impossible. They have this wild imagination. They know things somehow, some way. But we just need to really remember who we really are, that we are consciousness, spirit, soul, and that may make absolutely no sense to you. So let's get some photographs of yourself. Really, go look at photographs of yourself when you're like a toddler to a teenager to an adult to where you are today. Look at all these different bodies. Then where did you go? You have all these bodies. Where did you go? The real you is the unchanging essence of you, that you are consciousness. You're the one that sees through the eyes. You're aware of your senses. So consciousness is interprets senses, basically. So we're all consciousness. So they may want to recall it like reincarnation, but it's really just an extension of consciousness, that we have all these changing bodies, but yet the consciousness remains the same. For that's who we really are. The body drops away, consciousness remains. Consciousness may or may not enter another body. And there's no really rules, if you will, when the consciousness will come back into the body. So now your child is talking about a past life. What's the best way to support them? Usually what's happening is they usually may have been through a big trauma. There might be some unresolved issues that they want to close in this life, if you will. But what the first thing you need to do is just listen to them. Don't discount them. Give them an outlet to express what's going on. And then you start to research and see if you can piece together where they were, who they were. And if possible, one of the things that really is helpful that I'm seeing on this show was going to the actual location. It helps to give some closure. Yeah, that life is over. Yeah, I can see this building. I see this place. It's changed. It's different. I'm now this person having this experience, so they can let go. You don't want to deny the child the stories that they have. That's not helpful. It's just keeping things bottled up, if you will. It's always good for them to verbalize, to express, and encourage them to express that no harm's coming to them, that life is over if they die tragically. And they're not crazy. They just are having this experience that they don't understand, and they need some closure on that. So you can support them and help them to see that yes, you are consciousness. That was your past human experience. And now this is your current human experience. You're here for new lessons, if you will, new experiences, a new way forward. Because we all have had different bodies, different races, different sexes, that we are the timeless essence within us. I never had full clarity on my past lives, but I had glimpses here and there of who I was. And that's probably leading me to where I am today. Because I always had this inclination to be a spiritual teacher. I see glimpses in past life where I was in those kind of roles, like seeing myself as a student of Confucius. It's probably one of the oldest memories that I have in that spiritual space. And then the Stoic philosophers in Greece. I see that, but it's not hanging me up like, oh, I was this, I was this. Not bragging about it. It's just like, oh, I had that experience. Okay. Now I'm here for this current human experience, which was for me was 38 years of pain and suffering because I was forgetting who I really was of consciousness, of spirit. And when we remember consciousness, spirit, then things change. And I see these kids are very mature for their age. They're old, wise souls, if you will. They've been here and they've done that. We've all been here and we all have done that. we just get this spiritual amnesia when we come in. Well, most of us do. But some of the children do not get that spiritual amnesia, or it's not as strong for them because maybe they died in a tragic way. And so there's some little more charge, if you will, in their consciousness that propels them into this life. But just encourage your child, never discount what they're saying to you, and see if you can put the pieces together. It's possible they could have a vivid imagination making things up, but there's probably a good chance they're getting a glimpse of their past life. They might not have all the details. They might not have complete stories for like the show on a TV show. They might just have glimpses. Not to discount them, say, oh, that's interesting, and see, where their interest is. I actually had a direct experience of somebody reincarnating that was kind of interesting. My ex-wife, her grandfather, and at her time that her nephew, they just had this really interesting connection, this real interesting bond, very strong bond between them. So eventually the grandfather passed away. The nephew grew up, but the nephew got cancer and died young. So, but he was married and they had 2 kids, but then he passed away from cancer. Well, the one child was very mature for his age, but the time I noticed he was like 2, 3 years old, he was having similar mannerisms and ways of being to his grandfather. I'm like, that's Calman. I can see it, his mannerisms. And now with, the nephew dying, I can see why he stepped into that role, to take care of the family, to be that steady figure for them. Because this child was extremely mature and quiet and sure-footed, if you will, a lot of confidence in how to move forward. And the way they carried themselves was very similar to the great-grandfather. So it was interesting how they did that role reversal. But we're not seeing that's not usually the case. There's usually, not staying within the family, if you will, that we usually explore. And I'm seeing that in the TV show. We're not really seeing the family relations that goes within my child. We're just seeing these randomness, if you will, of consciousness, of in and out of bodies, just for that experience. It's like, oh, I never lived in that part of the world. I never lived in this part of the world. I never had that experience. Because we are here to remember who we are and to have all these beautiful experiences on earth. So we want to try to stay happy, playful, light, and not get so hung up and attached to this experience. To realize this is one experience probably of many. Because we are the consciousness coming in and out of forms, these bodies. This is not our first rodeo. We will have another human experience. So we want to make the most of this human experience, which adds to our next experience potentially. But we're all adding to the collective pool of consciousness. We're all an extension of source, of God, whatever you wish to call it. But we want to get rid of this duality, this sense of separation, that we're all interconnected. We are this one stream of consciousness. But we get so hung up in all this division and stuff. So just be open for your child. Be open with yourself. If you're having these past flashes and you can't make sense of it, it's okay. Relax. Reach out to me. We can probably do some past life regression and try to give some clarity on that, what you're experiencing, what you're going through. I offer these free head trash healing sessions. That link is below. And you can just schedule time and we can dive into that I've led people before through past lives and see if we can get some clarity there for you. But we ultimately just want to relax and realize your child's not crazy. He's not possessed. He's not evil. They're things of the mind. They're not true. Consciousness is this pure spirit. Evil is in the mind. And all these atrocities are from the mind being better than someone else. Someone else is less than, not worthy, not deserving. And all that stuff just needs to drop away because that's not who you are. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. That was my little chat for today. Take good care of yourself. Remember, take time for yourself. Take time to remember who you are. Then when you remember who you are, then you can really enjoy life without all these mental restrictions and limitations, because you're a free spirit choosing to incarnate for this beautiful human experience. Take good care.